Hi everyone and welcome. This is my first ever YouTube video. I hope it isn't a complete fail. Let's get into it. So today's video is a March wrap up about the book I am writing, which its tentative name is Ollie's New World, which will probably change. The title will probably change, but that's what I'm going with right now until I think of something better. Before I go any further, I guess it would be good for me to tell you just a little bit about the book I'm writing, right? It's a middle grade sci-fi. It's about Ollie and her family who have lived in an underground, essentially an underground war bunker for a few generations now. The only ones left there are Ollie, her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Rock, and then her grandfather. They call him Pops. So it's them living underground. Ollie has never surfaced. Ollie has never seen the world, but she wants to. And this book is about finding her way to surface and finding what's up there, who's up there, and the adventure that she gets to go on. I love this book. So that's a little about the book I'm writing. Now, let's talk about books that I've read this month to help me with my book. Actually, it's just a single book I read this month, and it is The City of Ember. It's by Dupra. I'm not actually sure how to pronounce her name. Sorry, Jean. You know, I'm just gonna put... There we go. I'll just put her name up there. Lena, our main character, finding a secret message in a box that ends up being instructions on how to leave the City of Ember. And it follows her story, her and Dune's story of piecing together this puzzle and finding a way out before the shortages just go out altogether. And the reason I wanted to read this book is, I feel like it's pretty obvious, to get an idea of how they lived under there, what it was like under there, problems they faced, how they overcame those problems. It's going to be a little different because mine is a family and not an entire city. But I did get a lot of good information out of it, I would say, and just visuals that I think I'll be able to help put in my book. I would have loved to have read this as a child. I did not know this book existed when I was a child. I think it came out in 2001. Let's see, 2003? Yeah, 2003, sorry. This is a very middle grade book, and I love that. And I also love books about children because it really follows the child's perspective and how they think about things and how they figure problems out. And we've all been children and we've all been there. And I think we still, as adults, have a lot of questions about our childhoods. So again, I love reading middle grades. That's one of the reasons, I love the first two Harry Potter books. I love all the Harry Potter books, but I really love the first two as well. So anyways, I've been gabbing about this book for a while. Let's move on. Okay, so now, movies that I've watched to help me with Ollie's New World. So the first movie I watched was The City of Ember, which I won't go into because I just kind of told you what it was about anyways, but it was fun to get a visual of it. It was very fun. There are some underground animals in Ollie's bunker. To see the huge rodents in theirs was kind of scary. Because mine aren't big rodents or anything, but they do cause problems. I think what I got most out of watching The City of Ember was I'm really good at is watching visuals and coming up with descriptions for what I'm seeing. So watching the movie, I came up with a lot of good descriptions, and I'm over there writers know how it is. You always have a little notepad or maybe your phone. I like to write on notepads, but just writing descriptions out as I see them on screen and just keeping those in a little file to hold on to and use when the time comes to write more about the underground bunker. The movie was really cheesy. It was not like a cinematic masterpiece whatsoever, but that's okay. It had a good story, and that's what matters. I liked it. I know some people like dog on it, but I thought it was good. I thought it was a cute movie. Not to like compare, but definitely not like Harry Potter quality of a movie, but it was good. Okay, and then the second movie I watched helping me with my book was Holes. I love Holes. Okay, just fangirling a little bit. I like loved Shia LaBeouf when I was a kid. Like, he was definitely like my Disney crush. I thought he was so cute and so funny on screen. So Holes has a special place in my heart. So it was really fun to go and watch it. I haven't seen it since like I was a kid. So to go back and watch Holes as an adult was really fun, very nostalgic. I had a great time watching it. So one reason I really wanted to watch Holes was because Ollie's grandfather, Pops, is a lot like Caveman's grandpa. Oh my God, what is Caveman's name? What is Caveman's real name? Oh my God. I know Zero is Hector Zeroni. Oh my God, Stanley Yelnats. Duh. Stanley Yelnats the fourth. All right, back on track. Okay, Stanley Yelnats's grandfather actually reminds me a lot of Pops. Very kooky, set in his ways, but has a really good heart. And so I wanted to go through and watch the movie and really just like focus in on those clips of the grandfather, how he reacts, what he says, and the impressions he gives off. So, because in my book, Pops has a lot of beef with the aliens in the alien invasion. And in Holes, Stanley's grandfather has a lot of beef with his no good, dirty, rotten, it's all because of your no good, dirty, rotten, pig stealing great-great-grandfather. That's a signature line of the grandfathers in Holes. He has a lot of beef with the great-great-grandfather of the Yelnatses because he believes, because he didn't carry Madame Zeroni up the hill and sing to her while she drank from the water, that the family is now cursed, and they are cursed with bad luck. Just like Ollie's Pops believes they are just stuck underground because of these dirty, rotten aliens. It's a fun little parallel that I thought of and really wanted to get the grandfather's vibe more, because that's the vibe I'm really going with for Pops. Another reason I watched Holes was because of the hierarchy that is found at Camp Green Lake amongst all the teenage boys there. When Ollie surfaces, she is going to find that she is quite different than the people who are up there now. And really, she has this desire to fit in with society, which is a very, a social norm of anyone. And that's what plays out also in Holes is Stanley, Caveman, as he's later lovingly called, finds his place amongst the other teenagers, and he kind of finds out who his real friend is, and he kind of finds out who the real friends are, and then kind of the ones that are don't really have his back kind of use him, because a big part of Ollie's new world is finding her people her age, finding friends, and finding out who the real friends are, who's gonna have your back, and the friends that aren't gonna have your back, and the friends who are kind of just using you for things, kind of like X-Ray does a lot in the beginning of the movie towards Stanley. And also because Ollie's gonna end up going on adventures. In particular, this first adventure in this first book is really scary. She's gonna do some really scary things and get herself into some crazy situations. And just like Stanley has Zero, Ollie's gonna have her friend, and then they're gonna maybe find more friends. Who knows? I do, but I'm not telling you. As you know, there's gonna be mean girls in my book because when you're in middle grade, like high school, there's always mean girls. Always. You cannot get out of high school without having to deal with a mean girl. Multiple mean girls, probably. Unless you are a mean girl. And even if you are a mean girl, you have a mean girlfriend. So you don't get unscathed by mean girls in high school. So that's definitely an issue in my book. Where was I going with this? So yeah, the social standings amongst the teenage boys. And I know that there are differences between cliques of girls and cliques of boys, but maybe I should watch Mean Girls. Oh, maybe I need to watch Mean Girls next month. Add that to my list. But even so, I got ideas with Ollie and the interactions she will be having with Mean Girls and the interactions she will be having with friends, and how she almost loses those friendships because of her insecurities, and how she finds her way back to the right friends, which is very important to have in my book. Because you can't be going on all these adventures unless you have like your girl squad. So yeah, but yeah. So now that I've talked about the books and the movies that I've read and watched this month, let's actually just talk about my writing and what I have done. March was a really good month. One, because I finally completed like the first, some people call it act, like the first act of my book, which I have from that first visual of Ollie and her life, all the way to the inciting incident that draws Ollie and her family to surface. So from there to there, I've completed, and I had it printed off and gave it to a few trusted readers. That was so hard for me, and also so exciting, so hard, because like up until now it's like been mine and mine alone, this little creative story, this creative world that I have built and that I have loved, these characters who are so real to me. And then just like giving it out for other people to critique is, I don't know, it's scary, but it's good. It's good because I know that these people who are reading my book care about me and care about me as a writer and want me to be the absolute best that I can be. So I know all the critiques they make are not made out of cruelty or meanness or saying, hey, you idiot, what kind of story is this? The whole point of critiquing is to help make my book better, and I'm obviously keeping that in the front of my mind as I wait for more and more critiques to come back. And I already have gotten some back, and they're very good. As I kind of expected, my voice, the way I tell the story, is really well done. I'm really good at voice. I'm really good at making my characters come to life and feeling like the people you're reading about are actually like real people, are there, and you feel like you know them. I'm really good at that. So that didn't surprise me. That came back great. And also that my story is a funny middle grade. The characters are funny. The situations they find themselves in are funny, which just makes me really happy. And the things that they do, the things that they say, situations they get wound up in, all great, all great. So makes me really happy to hear that. But there, of course, there were things that I could work on, such as always you know, kind of like being with Ollie through a situation. There's a couple times where leave Ollie and go on to a situation just with Mr. and Mrs. Rock and Pops. And it was suggested that I bring Ollie into that situation instead of her being on the outside of it and then not taking any part of what is going on, and then just like waking up the next day and being like, or hearing just the very last of this situation and not actually taking an active part in what's going on. And I thought that was good. I think this is Ollie's story, and Ollie needs to be in the thick of everything. So that was a really good point. So I'm going to go back and work on that. And then what else was there? Oh, just some clarity. You know, when you write a story, you know that story like the back of your hand. So sometimes when I write, I accidentally start writing from all that I know instead of all that the reader does not know. Like I know a ton about this underground bunker, what the problems are, knick-knack, paddywhacks, like all the issues it's had. So sometimes when I go to explain things, I'm going from the viewpoint of, I already know all of this, so I'm gonna go ahead and just start here and say this, when actually the reader doesn't know any of this. So I have to go back and add that into my story, help clarify things up some bit, which is fine. I can easily do that. What else was there? The clarity, bringing Ollie more into the picture. Oh, and also they think I could just bring in a little more tension between Ollie and her family, because Ollie wants to surface so badly. And I brought, like, there's quite a bit of tension between Ollie and her parents, because her parents are, you know, wanting to protect her, wanting to keep her safe underground. But there's a lot of consequences to that. Ollie doesn't have a life. Ollie doesn't have friends. And so there's a lot of tension between Ollie and her family. And the critique was maybe add some more in there, which I can do. And I think that's about it. And so I'm also really excited to hear from Madison. Madison is also writing one of her books right now, and she's going at it from a critique of being a writer herself and what she sees. So I'm excited to hear what she says. And then next month I'm going to give it to another trusted critique partner, and then also my sister hopefully will read it. She's supposed to read it. But, you know, she has a busy life. So yeah, I'm excited to hear from Madison. I'm excited to hear back from my sister, and I'm going to give a copy to, I think I'm going to revise that first act some and then give it again to another critique partner to see what they think. But yeah, so that was a big thing that happened in March for me. It was scary, but I'm also really glad I did it, because it gave me a confidence boost and it gave me some things to work on to make my story better. So I will go back and do that probably in April and see and make my first act even stronger. So that was one big thing I did in March. And then a couple other things I did for my book was working on silly little things. They're not silly little things, but they are silly little things. Like working on making aluminum foil hats. So Pops believes that if they wear these tinfoil hats, that the aliens cannot read their minds. So he has got one on 24/7, all the time, just in case there's another alien invasion and they find their underground bunker. And he's got like rows and rows and rows of aluminum foil rolls in his closet. And he's just a very kooky character like that. So when the time comes and they have to surface, Pops is requiring them all to wear aluminum foil hats. So I went ahead and made aluminum foil hats just to get a sense of, you know, how they feel on the head. They actually are not itchy on my hair because my hair is like so thick and crazy. Like I couldn't even like actually feel it. But it did feel dorky. It felt silly. And that's, I think, how Ollie is very much going to feel about it. She's going to put it on and want to take it off right away. But safety first, you know, can't let those aliens read your mind. So I did that. I've been doing a ton of gardening, specifically just like getting my hands dirty, getting that nitty gritty feeling of the dirt, what it smells like, what it feels like in your hands, and then even like what it like just feels like all over you, like because they're going to be living underground, and it's not like some super nice, you know, bunker that, you know, the federal government built. Like this was a family that built this. So there are, there's dirt, there's some grime and everything. And I got dirty, you know, my face got dirty. Like, how do I look? You know, how, you know, grungy is it and everything. And all of that. So I'm also incorporating that into my books as well. And then as far as writing goes, like sitting at the computer and typing, I got thousands. I lost count. I got a lot of writing done, like thousands and thousands and thousands of words done, which is really good. I mean, you can't, you know, progress in your story unless you actually sit down and write. So very proud of myself. I'm usually off anywhere between 9 to noon, anywhere. It just depends on the schedule. But and the first thing I do after I get home is I write. I sit down and I write for a couple hours. I just hash it out. And so I've been really good about keeping that routine going, and it's paid off, and I'm so proud of myself. Like I said, I've got like the whole first act of my book through its first draft, and now I'm, you know, continuing to work on that second act, third act. And it's so good. It's so good. I love where my book is going. I love the adventure she finds herself in the middle in, and just how like crazy, like this crazy situation she finds herself in, like dangerous situations she unintentionally gets her and her friend into, and the people that she meets along the way in doing this, and all the characters and the world building that comes with it. Just like, obviously you could tell, like I get super excited about it. And I've just been fleshing a lot of that out this month, and it's so fun. It's so rewarding to see it all come to life on the page. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. But yeah, so it's been a really good writing month. I think by the end of April, I could have either the second act first draft done or the third act first draft done, just depending on where I'm feeling more passion to write. I don't know about you guys, but I am not someone who is like, well, I have to start writing at the beginning, and then I have to write the middle, and then I have to write the end. Like my brain does not think like that. My brain is like, what's on fire in my mind right now? What is like just needing to get in from my imagination onto paper? And that's where I work. And it's done really well for me so far. So no complaints. So depending on what I'm feeling really excited to write is what I'll write. I got a ton done this month, and next month I'm hoping to revise the first act and get that second draft of it done, and then either complete the first draft of my second or third act. And then of course just have a load of fun doing it, because if I'm not really enjoying writing, why am I doing it anyways? So, but yeah, I think that's about all I have. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and thank you for coming on this writing endeavor with me. I'm so excited you're here, and please leave comments. We can follow each other on YouTube. I also have an Instagram. My Instagram handle is white.sneakers. But I would also like just love to follow you on your writing journey, and yeah, we could be little writer buddies online. So I think that's about all I've got. We'll see how this video turns out. I am so sorry if it's like super choppy and doesn't flow well. Bear with me, this is my first video, and I promise I'll get better. Okay, bye. So Stanley's, the reason, one of the, okay. Bleh. I think is what he is. No dirty, rotten, no good, dirty, rotten grandfather, I think it is. And in, oops. And in, oh my God, my hair. Oh my God, my hair. Another reason I wanted to watch Holes is because, hold on, now I have to burp.